We're live.
Hello and welcome to Workbank ThinkTank. I'm Tanya, Workbank's Talent Development Officer. Thank you for supporting our FB Live series by being here. Find out about what we do by watching this video. Please visit workbank.com for the precious jobs that are available out there. We also offer free trainings and career tips. Wherever you are in your career, Workbank is here to support you every step of the way. Now, please help me welcome my co-host for today, Workbank's Business Development Manager, Angel Besjurdi. Hello, Angel.
Hi! Hello, Tanya, and good afternoon to our viewers. In line with this month's theme of improving emotional intelligence in the workplace, today we will be talking about self-leadership and how it correlates to improved organizational leadership. When people think of the word leadership, often it is thought of an innate trait of an individual to manage other people, a skill that is mastered by anyone who aims to be a boss. But the truth is, leadership is not just for those with titles. Leadership happens in different contexts, including in the self context. And in developing one's ability to self-lead, in turn, it empowers individuals to inspire and empower others to pursue excellence. Thus, organizations thrive and flourish when leadership begins at an individual level. Today, we invited again one of our favorite resource speakers who will share with us some tips on how to effectively develop our self-leadership skills in order to become better leaders. Our guest today is a Genius Certified Emotional Intelligence Practitioner and Trainer, and she heads eMovation from the Profiles Asia group of companies. Together, let's all welcome Miss Ruby Maniala. Hi, Miss Ruby.
Hello, Miss Ruby.
Hi, Tanya. Hi, Workbank people. My favorite kind of people as well. Hi, Angel. And good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon to everyone. Well, here I am once again talking about my passion and purpose. Alam nyo naman, masigasig tayo sa emotional intelligence. And today our topic is about self-leadership. Are you excited to learn about it? Tanya, Angel, and of course, Workbank, and to all our viewers out there.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely,
So,
we're very excited to learn from this po.
okay, so let's start the ball rolling. Ready na ba kayo?
Yes po, ready na.
All right, great. So I would like to share my PowerPoint. And all right, there you go. I'm just going to make sure that everyone is comfortable and looking at the video. Can you hear me well? Can you see my PowerPoint? Please give me a thumbs up. All right, and if you want to share anything in the chat box, please feel free to do so. I'm sure Tanya and Angel can come in and share with us your thoughts, your feelings, kahit ano, wag lang pong violent reaction. All right, so self-leadership is courageous leadership happening right now. And thank you to Workbank, Genos International, and of course, our little company called eMovation. So I just would like to show a video about eMovation and our aspirations, our goals for every individual, elevating the human capacity to the fullest. Please enjoy this video. right, so that's the motivation for you. These are just some of our aspirations and goals. Coming up with your goals and getting there kung saan yung gustong makarating. And it takes habits. Hindi lang, the easiest part, Tanya, Angel, if I may share, is the goal setting, di ba? Ang dali nun eh. I want to be rich. How do you get there? How do you become rich? The habits that you have to do, the steps that you have to take, the master plan, and eventually implementing them, that I think is the harder part, di ba? All right. So ano nga bang kinalaman dun sa topic today? Of course, I have several questions to everyone, including the people here at Workbank. All right. How are you? Are you doing okay? Can you please share in the chat box? How are you? How are you doing? And if you're doing, you say, I'm okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how okay are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, did anybody share, Tanya?
We're waiting for responses, but if I can maybe share how I'm feeling right now. Well, it's more than okay. I'm quite excited because it's the weekend again. We
Yes.
love the weekends. Plus, it was a
True.
holiday yesterday, so parang medyo meron kang extrang energy to do stuff eh.
True.
Very much looking forward to, doing things for your own self. Yun yung natutunan ko during this pandemic na you have to really set time for yourself. So best time to do that is during weekends when you don't really have to worry about work and stuff.
True. It's okay to disconnect, sabi nga nila, during the weekends and do your own thing. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the little things or the big things that you'd like to do over the weekend, because self-care is also very important in self-leadership. All right. So I'd like to ask another question. Did any one of you come up with a New Year's resolution? Kasi kaka 2021 lang eh. Di ba mahilig tayo, eto na, New Year, and I have a few New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution is not to make any New Year's resolution. Did any one of you come up with a New Year's resolution, or any of our participants? Can you share in the chat box? If you did come up with a New Year's resolution, what are those? Can anyone share? Meron ba nag-share, Tanya, Angel? Did they come up with the New Year's resolutions?
Baka ngayon pa lang po gumagawa.
Oh, pwede din. Right, right.
Or baka si
Okay.
Angel. Baka si Angel po may New Year's
Angel,
resolution.
do you have any New
Right.
Year's resolution? You
Sige,
did?
I'll share my New Year resolution. Well, one is to lose weight with the pandemic and being working remotely. Gaining weight is inevitable, so it's very difficult, to maintain a good eating habit when all of the time you want to at least be productive with your work. That's why you mentioned earlier na very important yung disconnect, kasi work from home setup, wala nang 8 to 5 na susundan. If you want to work at 12
True.
midnight or at 5 a.m., you will work because you can do it. You can do it anyway. So with taking myself more and hopefully losing weight, managing my weight. That's so far my my New Year's resolution. Yeah.
So are you still keeping it up to this time? Are you still
What I
in
do
the
right
right track?
now is take lesser carbs and then doing quick runs outside in the morning.
Nice, because it takes 66 days. If that becomes a habit, or you can pursue it, magawa mo ng 66 days, madali na. I'd like to tell, I lost weight actually. I don't know if you noticed. But I
Good.
did, I lost weight.
Please,
Oo,
yes.
medyo malaki because yun nga, I started the habit because of the pandemic. I was scared that I might be in that route na you're on your laptop, nasa bahay ka, tapos konting lakad, andyan yung ref, you can get anything, you can eat while you're working, pwede mong i-turn off yung video, right? So I changed the habit. Sabi ko, I will only eat sa table where I'm supposed to eat. I'm not going to bring any snacks on the table because that might become a habit. So yon, nag-lose ako ng weight. you see, I'm asking about commitments because this has something to do with self-leadership, right? Because we're able to keep commitments such as this because we're able to manage ourselves, which leads me to the next slide. Did you know that 92% of people fail with their New Year's resolutions? Grabe, di ba? Ang laki pala ng percentage. 8% lang of people actually makes it with their New Year's resolutions with results. It is very, very hard, right? Right? Anybody in our with our participants who were able to keep hanggang ngayon their New Year's resolutions? Can you say yes? Meron ba mag-share?
Mukhang wala po.
Mukhang
Wala po
wala. May
nakakomment.
participants ba
We
tayo?
have, yes, currently we have Erica Ruiz. She gave her own rate from your early question kanina. She said she has a rate of 7. And then with regards also sa new resolution, lose weight then and enjoy
All
every
right.
second of the day kahit sobrang stress na sa work due to pandemic.
Wow, that's a wonderful resolution. Keep going, keep working on it, find joy. You know, in a research, 92% of people fail with their New Year's resolutions because they want to stop doing something. Di ba? Parang I will stop eating carbs, I will stop eating too much sugar, I will stop my milk tea. And the mind is not wired to actually be pleasant or accept it because it's not rewarding. And it has something to do with our emotions. So some people, according to research, they did the opposite. So instead of I'm going to stop, I'm going to start doing. For example, I'm going to start limiting my carbs. I am going to exchange vegetables or fruits instead of cake. I'm going to start walking. And that sort, because it's in a very positive note, it starts of gets you going to where your goals are. All right. Now, I'd like to ask you a question. What is easier, leading yourself or leading others? What do you think? Any opinion on that? What's easier, leading yourself or leading others? Any opinion or any sharing from our participants?
While
There's
we're
no
waiting
right or wrong. Yes,
while we're
Tanya.
waiting for our participants, I'm assuming baka medyo may delay yung feed natin. But for me, I think it's easier po to lead myself because I have no control of other people's emotions or their motivations. I can only inspire them, pero it's still up to them. Parang everything is still up to them.
All right.
Versus if I am only leading or if I am leading myself, I already have kumbaga meron na akong motivation sa sarili ko because I wouldn't be setting plans or goals for myself if hindi ko naman siya gusto. So it's very easy for me to follow it through if I want it versus me making someone else do something na hindi ko sure if they want to or not.
Right. Very well said, Tanya. How about you, Angel? Or anyone else? What's easier, leading your...
I actually second Tanya's answer, leading myself, because of course, among other people, I've mastered on the things that I would want to do, the things that I need to do, and yung mula iisipin mo pa yung mood swings niyan eh. If I feel doing this, if I think I can do this, and yung duration of the time in the span that I can do it. So basically, knowing myself more, knowing my own boundaries is much easier to lead myself. And I think it's much more important to know if you can lead yourself before you can lead others.
That's very true. That's very true. So I laud the two of you, Tanya and Angel, that you are easier. You feel that it's easier to lead yourself than to lead others. Because in my opinion, leading oneself is actually more hard. No, it's harder to do it for me because, for example, leading others, when I think it's the accountability thing. Parang, for example, I have training ng 8, I wake up at 4 a.m. because I lead others in the team eh, na we're supposed to do this, that. So 4 a.m. gising ako. Now, if, for example, it's a weekend and I'm supposed to wake up for my own benefit, for my fitness and health plan, wake up at 4 a.m. so I can go out and exercise at 6. Gigising ako ng 4, mag-alarm. Ay, ibali na bukas na. Because it's just me. You know what I'm saying? But if I am accountable for someone, then it's easier for me because I think of others. So kanya-kanya naman yan, whatever suits us. But it's really very important to lead oneself because as what Tanya and Angel has said, in order to lead others, you have to first lead yourself. It is called courageous leadership. It is called the inside out leadership because it begins from the inside out. Meaning to say you cannot lead others if you cannot do it within yourself. So that's why it's very, very important. What is self-leadership anyways, right? So that's the big question. Now, self-leadership has three things. All right, I'd like to himay-himayin natin, no? Number one, it is a process of influencing oneself to establish the self-direction. Sorry for that, there's something wrong with the spelling there. And self-motivation needed to perform. All right, again, influencing oneself. You know, leadership is merely influence. Sabi ni John Maxwell yon. But to influence oneself, direct oneself, and motivate oneself to perform. That's self-leadership. Another criteria for self-leadership is having a developed sense of who you are. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Have you really looked at yourself in the mirror? Tapos sinabi mo, I will write down my strengths, I will write down my weaknesses, and I'm going to accept them. Because you cannot do anything about it unless you accept them. Especially yung weaknesses, no? Parang, is this acceptable? Ako ba talaga to? Do I need to do something about it? What you can do and cannot do, where you are going, coupled with the ability to influence your communication, emotions, and behaviors on the way to getting there. Now, ano ba yung third component ng self-leadership? It is a comprehensive self-influence perspective that concerns leading oneself towards performance of naturally motivating tasks. Di ba may task that naturally motivates us? Parang gusto-gusto nating gawin. For example, ako, training or doing it online or face-to-face is a naturally motivating task because I really love doing it, as well as managing oneself to do work that must be done but is not naturally motivating. I don't like to do detailed report work before. Parang it's so tedious. I have to do my report. I have to do a matrix, a Gantt chart, blah, whatever it is. But then I have to motivate myself that it is my discomfortable zone, but I need to do it because I'm going to learn from it. And it is a much needed direction in my work as a leader. So ginagawa ko pa din, even if it's not naturally motivating. In a short word, in one term, let me just put it simply, self-leadership is intentionally influencing your thinking, feeling, and action to achieve one's personal objective. It has to be intentional, purposeful. Hindi yung we go wherever we want, we do whatever we want to do kahit hindi intentional. Ayaw mong gawin and somebody asks you, halika, ano tayo, let's drink or let's go out, let's do something. You're tired but you still say yes. That's not intentional, di ba? There has to be a sort of boundary on you saying yes to everything and anything and saying no is okay. So once again, it's intentionally influencing your thinking, feeling, and action to achieve one's personal objective. And flourishing in times of bearable discomfort. Dahil iba yung panahon ngayon, di ba? Pandemic and lockdowns. We can't do the things that we usually do. We can't see other people. Limited. This is still connecting. Whatever it is, kahit na in little boxes, we are still connecting. We have to come up with a growth mindset. All right? Things are not how they used to be. But I will choose to grow. A growth mindset is freedom. It's freeing yourself from the confines of where we are now in the pandemic. It is perseverance in the face of failures. Effort is required to build new skills. You find inspiration in others' success. Imbis na mainggit, you embrace challenges. You accept criticism. You have the desire to learn. And of course, you build on your abilities. And as I was saying in one of the other webinars, when you're in a growth mindset, there is no limitation to your capacity when you are humble enough and willing enough to say, I can learn, I must learn, I should learn. While fixed mindset is very limiting. It avoids challenges. Ayaw niyang nahihirapan. You give up easily. You're threatened by other success. Your effort is fruitless. You ignore feedback. And your mind is set on fixed abilities. Hindi ko kaya yan. Hindi ko naman pinag-aralan yan eh. You know, I at my age or at a younger age, 1986, I really tried on my own to work on the computer because it was a much needed skill at that time. And I had 5 kids. So they were laughing at me. How are you going to do it, Mom? I don't know, but I'm going to learn this. And I did. I did learn it. You know, no onset ng pandemic and I was having some webinars agad left and right, March. Baliktad yung ulo ko. I don't know how that happened. So participants were telling me, Miss Ruby, baliktad yung ulo mo. But I continued and I learned. Sabi ko nga nung time na yon, ay, progress over perfection. Right? So we need to imbibe a growth mindset as leaders. Life happens. You know, disappointments come, failures come, rejections come, our expectations may not be met, but life happens. But you know what? I tell people when, you know, there's a downtime. I also experience downtimes, but what do? You know, life happens, but we can turn things around so that we make life happen for us. Again, being intentional and purposeful. So don't let your downtime dominate your whole being, your whole year, your whole day. Parang galit ka sa umaga, buong araw galit ka na, sira na yung trabaho mo, sira na yung mood mo, and it could even ruin your relationships. So intentional, purposeful, having a choice, that's what we have. And that's why we can be great leaders towards ourselves, and that is very courageous. And having a growth mindset means learning new things, learning from mistakes, even unlearning. When your cup is full, sabi mo, ay, alam ko na lahat yan, and you're not open to new learnings, wala nang papasok. So you need to unlearn some things. Learning from the experiences of others, makinig, and of course, continuous learning. May I ask, ano yung favorite nyo sa lahat ng learning dito? Anyone, participants and Workbank alike? Which of these statements is your favorite?
Ako po mauuna. For some reason, I like to learn from my own mistakes.
Okay.
Only because ayoko kasi nang mag-regret not trying things out. So as much as possible, I want to try things out, and then if hindi ko gusto, then we learn our lesson. You charge it to experience, parang ganon. And then continuous learning, definitely po. I don't think that I know everything. I never think na I know everything. So learning or continuously learning from other people or from wherever, like sources, I'm very open to that.
Wow, wonderful. Yes, I like that. No, some people they you know, they don't learn from mistakes. So if you do it once, nagkamali ka, it's a mistake. If you do it twice, pwede pang pagbigyan. But if you do it for the third time, that's a choice. Diba? All right. And of course, continuous learning. How about you, Angel? Meron bang nagpa-participate na sa ating mga participants?
Yes po. Maybe after Angel, I can read out some of the responses.
All right. Fantastic.
So, for me naman, Miss Ruby, actually, initial answer would also be like Tanya's, learning from mistakes. But my personality also is I'm a very adventurous person, so I'm also very open to learning new things. Even though kahit hindi ko siya line of work or line of study, I'm always looking forward to learning the things that I have no idea about. So that thought itself makes me excited to know about it and eventually to study it and grow for it. And of course, continuous learning. So wherever part we are in life right now, I think learning is mandatory, whether we are fresh graduates, managers, or even seniors. There's always room for learning. So there.
Right. Ako rin, even at my age. O sige, go Tanya. Please go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add lang po because Angel mentioned that she likes learning new things. Erica from one of our viewers also said the same thing. She likes learning new things. She also responded earlier po na she likes or she thinks it's easier to lead herself, and now she is also saying that she likes to learn new things din, or yun yung favorite statement niya dyan.
All right. Thank you,
And
Erica. Parang si
yes, and
Erica,
Miss
very,
Ruby,
very
we
active.
also have sorry, we also have
Sige.
Bebot here. His answer is learning new things, and Infante Marites, continuous learning naman.
All right. Thank you so much. Kasi now, no, the appeal of the world is for lifelong learning. And the learning is not only what you can do in the workplace, but you can bring back home, within the confines of you as an individual contributor to yourself, to your family, to your loved ones, and then eventually to the community. So yun na yung mga learnings. And up to this day, at my age, I never stop learning. In the US, may 60 years old, nag-enroll sa medicine. 60. And so she was interviewed. Sabi niya nun, why enroll in medicine or why take the course now? You're 60. Alam mo, sagot niya, I'll grow old anyway, so why should I not study? Inevitably, di ba, matatanda rin tayo eh. Should that keep me from studying? So, hindi. So, very good. Continuous learning, and thank you to all of our participants. To make it clear. Oh, sige,
We
go
also
ahead.
have Del Mariano here, additional from our viewers po. Her answer is learning new things and learning from the experiences of others. We also have Adrian. He's saying it's hard to learn from mistakes, but that's when we remember something longer.
Right. Tama yon. I love what Adrian said. When you learn from your own mistakes, mas na-embed, no? Mas naaalala. Sabi nga, when you
True.
are involved, di ba? Involved ka kasi eh. And merong emotion na nakasama doon, mas naaalala mo. Para ka nang merong radar na, oops, nyari, yung falling in love, yung ganyan. Parang, oops, mai-in love ka na naman ganyan, tapos parang yung radar mo, hindi ba yung last mong, kapartner, ganyan din, pero niloko ka, oops, teka lang, wait.
Mukhang maraming makakalitan.
Oo, di ba maraming hugot doon. Parang isipin mo yung cycle. Why do I always fall for this kind of people? I find people may pattern. May pattern. The same type of person, the same. So medyo ibahin mo kung medyo sumasablay ka. Ayan. Oh, napaisip yata si Angel doon. All right, so to make it clear, self-leadership hinges on self-awareness. It is being aware about the way you feel. Ano ba yung nararamdaman mo? And the impact your feelings can have on your decisions, your behavior, and performance. People who are emotionally self-aware are conscious of the role their feelings can play in these areas and are better equipped to manage this influence effectively. When we are emotionally self-aware, we are present. Andito tayo ngayon 100% with the role feelings are playing on our decisions, behavior, and performance. Kasi pag may nangyayari, akala mo ba nag-iisip ka? Hindi. The first thing that reacts are your emotions. So kunwari may tao kang ini-interview, akala mo rational. Nasa rational yung decisions mo, but actually at the back of your mind, yung emotions mo, ayoko tong taong to.
May something.
Di ba may something? But unconsciously, you already made the decision, ayoko tong taong to. Even if rationally, okay naman yung application niya, okay siya sa interview, ayoko lang tong taong to. Pero akala mo rational. But that decision has already been made. And I would like to read the meaning of self-awareness. It is being consciously aware of our own character, feelings, motives, and desires, and understanding how this translates into our habits and behaviors so we can be intentional and purposeful in what we do. We have to be aware. Yan. Yan ang self-awareness. How do we become more self-aware? Self-talk. Huwag naman yung lokalokahan talk, ano? I mean, you look at yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, what do I need to change? Did I do something wrong? Especially after a certain event, a moment of self-reflection, which is what I always do. Pero wag naman patagalin, no? Wag kang tumambay doon, tapos ma-depress ka na. Don't do that. Alam mo, iba ang tagal. Parang, ba't ko ba nasigawan yun? Tapos wala na. Hanggang gumabi na, hindi na nakatulog. Don't do that to yourself. I mean, self-talk is, what did I do? What can I do? Why did I feel that way during that time? How did my reaction, what because of my reaction, ano yung naging reaction niya? You know, how did I make someone feel? Beyond. So you have to take a good stock and take psychometric assessments. And I know Workbank is also offering those, right? I started on those assessments, knowing my personality, knowing my strengths, my weaknesses scientifically, and then continuously, conscientiously changing those. And of course, getting regular feedback. I think Rizal is in the audience. I always ask Rizal, did I do okay? Or did I come off as too strong? Did I talk too loudly? Anything which I have, ayoko nang mag-second guess eh. And don't guess how people are feeling. Yung, tingin ko ano, masama yung araw nito, porque nakasimangot. You have to ask. That's the wonderful thing eh, di ba, about feelings. You can ask them, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling okay? Is it okay to talk to you about this certain situation? You know, you have to ask, don't assume. Pinakamahirap yung mag-assume and then mali pala yung assumption mo. And I'm sure it happened to any one of us. Sa akin din, nangyayari pa rin yun, right? Can you share any time that you assume tas mali pala? Can anybody be so brave, so courageous that they can share a time, a moment, you assume, tapos mali pala? Ayan, yung nawala yung, yung nawala ko niya, ano ba, nawala yung ball pen ko. Eh, ako I'm a lover of pen, kahit na mahal, mura, I love my pen. And then you assume, may kumuha siguro. How many times nangyari yun? As you look in your cabinet, in your wallet, in your bag, andun lang pala. Right? So we have to make time, that space. Ikaw, Tanya, can you share any moment?
Well, hindi po ako yung nag-assume. Yung mga tao yung nag-assume sa akin kasi for those who do not know, medyo malabo talaga yung mata ko. 350 yung grado ng mata ko.
Oh, all right.
And so pag naglalakad ako and I'm not wearing my glasses, people be like, ang suplado mo, hindi ka namamansin, dinaanan mo lang kami, nakasalubong mo kami, tapos hindi namin alam kung galit ka ba or something. Parang, nakita ko kayo. Parang gano'n. Hindi ko nakita kasi in the first place, wala. Kaya ang tanong ko parati kapag gano'n, may suot ba akong salamin? Kasi kung wala akong suot na salamin, malamang hindi ko kayo nakita, kaya hindi ko kayo nabati. Pero kaya, yun po yung usual na parang impression din na parang suplada daw po ako dahil hindi ako namamansin. Ang hindi lang nila alam, hindi ko talaga sila nakikita.
There you go. O nga sila yung nag-assume, no? I've been also in the same position. Anyone from our participants or Angel, mahirap mag-assume. No?
Sige,
Kasi
yes,
Angel.
For me, ganun din. Pag nakikita nila ako, parang hindi daw ako namamansin, suplada. Kaya ever since I heard that feedback, every time I see someone, like when I'm entering a room, I always make sure to smile. Oh, hindi ako masungit ha. Wala nang mag-a-assume na ganon. so far naman, ever since I started doing that, wala nang ganung nag-a-assume. But then that's one of the most common feedback also.
But it's good that you asked for feedback and you did something about it. So that's a wonderful way of becoming more self-aware. Get regular feedback. Minsan ang hirap, di ba, tumanggap ng criticism. Ako as a mother, madali ako magbigay ng feedback sa mga anak ko. Oy, gawin mo to, ba't ganun ka? Pero to us, how am I doing as a mom? Kasi I'm a widow na of 11 years. Ang hirap, di ba? But we have to accept that and we have to get feedback in order to better ourselves. Again, I want to make it clear. Ayan, self-leadership is self-management. Yung externally managed, pag external yung minamanage mo, hindi muna yung sarili mo, no influence over what, how, and why of work. Nawawalan tayo ng influence. You know, kasi para tayong thermometer, we go with the flow instead of us managing the what, how, and why of work. And we are dependent on extrinsic incentives. Pag may pizza today, ang boss, ang office, I will work better. Pero sa bagay, who will not work better with pizza? However, we should not be just motivated by those things. When you are self-managed, you have influence over the how of work. Doesn't matter whether there's an external reward, sinasabi nga natin, no? Or somebody's gonna tell you, you need that. Ang galing mo. You don't need that. We don't need that if we are self-managed, and we don't depend mainly on extrinsic incentives. Kumbaga nagkakaroon ka ng intrinsic na motivation on your own. And if you have self-leadership, you have influence over the what, how, and why of work, and you are dependent on both intrinsic and extrinsic incentives. Ayan, yung sa sarili mo, I want to be the best. I want to be on top of the pile. Ayan, all right? And this is beautiful. I saw it on, I Googled it, and I just love it. You know, it says, the things I cannot control, how long this crisis will last, how others will react, predicting what will happen, other people's motives, if others do social distancing, the actions of others, if stores run out of these supplies, I cannot control them. So wag na kayong magpaka-stress. I will let go of these things. Konting, yan, nararamdaman nyo ba? Umuunti na yung stress nyo, no? Because you let go of the things you cannot control. And how I follow the rules, finding fun things to do at home. My positive attitude, limiting my social media, my own social distancing, my kindness and grace, turning off the news. I can control this, and I will focus on this. So again, within your sphere of control those that you can. Yung hindi, wala kang magagawa. Parang yung, I want to help in the pandemic. Gusto ko yung vaccine, ma-vaccinate lahat. You have no control over that. So don't stress about it. All right? Work with what you have and with what you can. And how do we improve our self-management? Manage your boundaries. Right? Manage your boundaries. Yun nga yung, it's okay to disconnect during the weekends. Di ba meron tayong FOMO? Ano nga yung FOMO? Anybody who knows? Ibig sabihin ng FOMO? Do our participants know the meaning of FOMO? FOMO? Di ba fear of missing out?
Yan, mga Gen Z millennial tong si, si Miss Ruby.
Oo, di ba? Updated tayo. Yan, fear of missing out. So gusto mo, lahat ng nangyayari, lahat ng chismis, lahat kailangan mong malaman. Kaya oo ka ng oo naman. And then you get frustrated, you get tired, you get exhausted. So you have to manage your boundaries and turn off a little things. It's okay to disconnect. It's also okay to do JOMO naman. JOMO. Alam niyo yung JOMO? Siret na, joy of missing out. It's okay, medyo okay, disconnect muna ako. I will replenish myself. So Angel, any comment on the JOMO?
I think the JOMO, doon ako mas nakakakuha ng peace of mind. Kasi when you become always craving for information, whether it's public news or what other people are doing socially or at work, you know, parang nagiging crowded yung pag-iisip mo eh. Eventually, you become too much conscious. You want to somehow pumapasok. Maraming other things na pupasok sa utak mo whenever you keep thinking of what others are doing or where they at right now. So, yung joy of missing out, I think
yes.
on that space.
Yes, very good. Kasi research is showing that the more hours you spend on social media, looking at how people are doing, these are the people who are prone to get sad or depressed. Because let's face it, pag sa social media naman, you don't put there, I am so sad, winarak ang puso ko. I mean, most of the time, you bring up the best pictures, beautiful moments, di ba? So pag if you keep reading at it, you may even compare yourself, bakit ako ganito? Bakit siya nakakapag-travel, ako hindi? So there's that tendency. And say no to toxic relationship. If it's not doing you any good, say no to it. Question your self-talk. Do you say, hindi ko kaya yan? Or question the story. Yung nakikinig ka sa kwento ng iba about you. For example, they're so negative. Hindi mo kaya yan, hindi mo magagawa yan. That's their story. You have to change your own story and come up with your own story. Happiness is a choice. Own your experience, find your third space. Yun yung space kahit ba nasa bahay ka between work and home and or meeting someone or coming out of yung 5 p.m. let's say after this you're online up to 5 p.m. and medyo stressed ka pa and ay wag ka muna makipag-usap sa family member mo. It's okay to say give me 10 to 15 minutes or ako I would say to my kids give me an hour to rest, recuperate before I go out to dinner. Para pagdating ng dinner, ayan na naman ako si energetic. And then, yung nga, sa umaga pa lang, no, my kids will tell me, nakailang kape ka na, ma'am? Masyado kang hyper. And also, self-care is self-management. So these are some of the attitudes or behaviors that we can see in a person who exhibits self-management. They gain and exhibit maturity. They are confident in who they are. They draw wisdom from their experiences and acknowledges the contribution of others. And they are in charge of their life without feeling inadequate. Ayan. It's okay to have feelings of inadequacy once in a while, but only to fill the gap na parang what can I do with these feelings of inadequacy? I always say when someone's feeling insecure in the presence of another person, sometimes it's good to take a look at accountability, the accountability of how you feel. Maybe it's not, the person is not intentionally making you feel insecure, but something maybe more internally about you is making you feel insecure. You have to draw the line. Yan, kasi baka we can blame, ikaw kasi, you make me insecure, you make me irritated. But sometimes be accountable for what you are feeling. I am irritated because of what is he or she doing. So minsan you have to take stock of that. Ikaw ba, you're feeling that way, maybe ayaw naman niya yon, right? And acceptance doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means you're trusting your ability to get through. Ako, when I have my downtime, I accept it. Okay, hindi mo na ako lalabas. I'll take good care of myself. And I know I'm going to get through this. Whatever it is that makes you feel down and frustrated, go back to other seasons in your life where you were able to make it through. Tapos hugutin mo yon. Come back from that. That's your innate self. That's your real self. That's the hero in you. And use that as the power to take you from that downtime to your uptime. We should all now move upwards. And these are some self-leadership strategies. May constructive thought, no? It begins with the mind, behavior focus, and of course, natural reward strategies. Ayan. Let's, sa constructive thought strategies, may mental imagery. How do you see yourselves? For example, in one word, describe an image of yourself and describe it in the chat box. Is it a good image? Is it a bad image? Is it 50-50? Any sharing? Tanya, Angel, what's your mental imagery of yourself?
Mahirap kapag one word lang eh. Pero siguro one word that I can picture myself of is very independent.
Okay.
I am very independent in my own decision. I mean, in my decisions, in my actions as much as possible. I want to ano ba yun? I want to be accountable and responsible for all my actions. So ayokong nagre-rely ako on other people because wala ka namang pwedeng ibang i-blame with your in your own decision. So I as much as possible gusto ko sarili I break away from any sort of dependency from other people. Para the responsibility is mine, the accountability is mine, the consequences are mine to deal with as well, and I won't have to stress myself having to find someone to blame. Parang ganun.
All right. Okay. And I think also another word, one word to describe is strong. Would you consider yourself a strong person? Pwede? Pwede ba?
Pwede po. Gawin natin 2 words para strong and independent.
Yes. Parang pang Miss Universe, I'm a strong and independent woman. Okay. Angel, meron ba ng share or how about you? How will you describe yourself?
Currently wala pa pong nag-share. I believe they will eventually share later on. For me, mental imagery, on the go. I was always on the go. So being a mom, being a wife, being part of the company, being being myself. You know, for example, on a day when you wake up, ano bang gagawin ko? Will I be part of the company first? Will I be a mom first? Or will I be myself first? So I'm always on the go. Whatever the demand of my current situation is, I make sure I'll be able to adapt right away and deliver.
Very nice. Ito palang si Angel, pwedeng go, 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 right? So I'm assuming you're very energetic, no? And you wear different hats. I didn't even realize you look so young, that you're a mom, you're a wife, and of course, you're an employee. And sometimes, you know, when the day gets to parang, I failed as a mom, kunwari, no? But remember, you're wearing certain hats. It can happen eh. Ako when I'm feeling down, parang, I failed as a mom. I did not respond well, let's say, to a favor or to a discussion with my son. But today, I was a 10 as an employee, OMG, di ba? Then it will lift up your spirit. And I'm also a 10 as a daughter kasi I doted on my 88-year-old mom. I talked with her, I comforted her. So it's okay yung may mga moments na when we're wearing a lot of hats, merong isang 5 lang ako doon, 10 ako dito, 8 ako dito. The end of the day, pag sinuma mo, 7.5 ang average. Not so bad, right?
Really evaluation. That's really good.
Yes. So,
that.
di ba na-affirm? Ayan yung mga self-talk nyo. Lagi ba kayong negative or positive? Para bang pagising nyo pa lang sa umaga, sabi nyo, Lord, what a morning. Or, good morning, Lord. Ano yung pinipili nyo? Dysfunctional or limiting beliefs. Hindi ko kaya yan. Pinanganak ako mahirap. Mamamatay ako mahirap. Hanggang ganito na lang ako. You should change those. Kasi nagkakatotoo yan. Kasi yung beliefs mo inside your head, your values, you anchor on that so you don't push yourself. Paano kung sinabi mo, hindi. I will get out of this. I will study more. And you know what? In a study ng mga taong, Michelle Obama is a perfect example. Sa dami ng nangyari sa buhay niya, hindi naman siya galing sa mayamang pamilya, but look where she is now. Oprah Winfrey, one of the richest woman in the world. Diba? Coming from humble beginnings, she was sexually exploited and abused as a child. But look at her now. Paano kung inisip niya yung circumstance niya, I'm a victim wala na akong magagawa. Where do you think will they be? Right? And what is your story? Change your story. Alam niyo, yesterday, I'd like to tell you, nagpunta ako sa puntod ng husband ko because it's his 11th death anniversary with my sister-in-law who is also a widow. Then we went to Landmark. And lo and behold, sabi ko, I need somebody to help in the push cart. Sabi, tawagin natin si Jomer. And I saw Jomer. Wow, and I was shouting, Jomer, Jomer. And siya din, Miss Ruby. Muntik na kami yung parang sa movie na magyakapan, ganyan. Habang running towards each other. And Jomer is one of the people we trained in cooperation with Dolly, Department of Labor, for out-of-school youths. Ito yung parang nawalan na ng goal to work, to do something kasi nga hindi nila natapos yung school nila. Some of them are teen pregnancies, mga ganon. They went through that and we changed their mindset. You know what? Paris, pag tinatanong ko, what's your story? Ba't andito ka ngayon? Kasi sabi po ng mga magulang ko, walang mangyayari sa akin, palaboy na lang ako, wag na ako mag-aral. You know, and when you keep hearing this, minsan parang nagiging totoo. And he's physically challenged. He's 25 years old. He's 4'11", and he talks with a stutter. But you know what? He has a big heart. And during our training, he's always very positive. And although he keeps saying, naku, Miss Ruby, naka-16 na po akong try, wala pong kumuha sa akin. You know why I'm so happy? I saw him working there. Sabi niya, Miss Ruby, 1 year na po ako nag-work. And you know, they always chat with me, thank you for changing whatever it is that we were able to change. Just because of this, a change of mental imagery, self-talk, limiting beliefs, and what is your story. Yung story ng iba, huwag yung pakinggan, lalo kung negative. Make up your own stories. Do something else. It's 4:52, so medyo bibilisan ko na. I would like to say that self-leadership is courageous leadership. Mahirap It's very hard. It is willingness to forgive, even when it hurts, even when it is hard. One of the hardest things to do is forgive. Yung grudge, you know, this morning I was doing emotional intelligence leadership with people in the public service, and one of them says, ang hirap nun, I still have a grudge. How do I overcome it? How do I act with kindness on the person that whom I have a grudge with, and yet I work with them every day? It's one of the hardest things, isn't it? But you see, sabi nila, unforgiveness is like drinking poison, hoping the other person will die. It's not saying they're right. It's not saying they're right, but your willingness to forgive will make you free. It is a freeing thing. All right. It is also willingness. Papatawa lang ako. It is also willingness to say sorry even when we do not feel like it. Ito yung unnatural tendencies natin. Di ba? When we're talking about self-leadership, we have to do it even if it's not self-rewarding, even if it's not our natural tendency. Kahit ayaw mo, say it. Say it. It's better to say sorry. Pero kung sorry na. Yan. Parang hindi sincere, right? Be sincere. And later on, you'll find out the rewards of doing that. It is also being honest, even when no one is looking, even when no one will know. That's self-leadership, courageous leadership from the inside out. It is also standing up for what is right, even at the sake of being unpopular. Yan. No? Kanya nagchichismisan sila about one person, and then I stood up for that person. Naku po, the next day walang bumabati sa akin. Because I told him, I really don't like this line of conversation. I'm not going to sit there and have lunch with you people while you're lambasting the other person for her physical looks. I'm sorry. I just cannot take it. So nobody invited me to lunch again. Anyway. But it's okay kasi in the long run, they respected me for that. Yung una lang naman yun eh. And then in the long run, wow, okay, she's okay. She's a good person to talk to. I know I will be safe with her, right? Because if I'm unwilling to talk about others, even when others are talking about that person, wala naman siya, then your secrets are safe with me, right? It is willingness to feel small so that others will feel great and big. Alam mo, minsan parang alam ko yan, ako dapat dyan, but you hold back. Okay, let somebody take over, and then I will play a supporting role. Yan, di ba? So that's also self-leadership, again, courageous leadership. It is willingness to listen when you desperately want to be heard. Parang, ako naman, pakinggan niyo ako. I was talking about in that other webinar, are you the center of your solar system? You become depressed when you're like that eh. Kasi, hindi ako, walang attention sa akin, hindi ako yung kinakausap, hindi ako. And that's when you really kind of come up with the downtime. When you always want attention, we always crave for that. No? So don't be the center of the universe. Pwede namang maging sun to warm others. But if it's always pakabig, maybe take a stop. All right. It is also the willingness to act in love. Ang hirap nito. Parang feeling ko, sinasabi ko, now I'm thinking, am I doing it really? Religiously talaga lang ha? Even when you feel that you have been treated unfairly. This in itself is a courageous act. Very hard to do, but if you're able to do it, you are a leader, and I am very, very proud of you. So at the end of our session, it's 4:55. I would like you to write a letter to yourselves. I will start with my own. Dear Ruby, you have gone a long way. There will still be hurts and pain in this journey called life, but keep standing up. These experiences has made you stronger, given you a firm perspective and grasp of your stand and beliefs. Today and moving forward, please do your best to impart only uplifting words, because they may just be mere words, but you can either build or destroy another person because of your words. Continue to be grateful in any circumstance and never let your faith waver. And should this happen, please focus your eyes on the one who holds the future. And that's a letter to myself as a reminder of what I can be and of who I can be, because self-leadership is coming from the inside out And that is where courageous leadership begins. And as Rumi said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. So I hope you write letters to yourselves and look at it once in a while. Ayan. So Angel, Tanya, may letter ba kayo to yourselves? Can you share?
Actually, nagsisimula pa lang po ako mag-isip. Hindi ko alam kung sisimulan ko ba munang I don't know. I don't even know where to start. Do I praise myself first? Do I congratulate myself, or do I say sorry for the things that I have, that I lacked siguro in life? Nandun pa lang po ako sa conceptualization ba?
Okay, that's good. At least you're on your way, di ba? You want to do that. So ako yan, I wrote a letter to myself, and it's a good way to, parang cathartic kasi, you release some of the things you want to do, you forgive yourself. That's okay. For if there's any misgivings, regrets that you've done in the past, it's okay. Move on from that. Accepting yourself is also another way of writing to yourself, for whoever you are, for whatever you are. And so parang i-release natin yung mga limiting beliefs, the voices that are negative around us, because we want to be the best version of ourselves. Yan. So any questions? Meron ba tayong Q&A?
Let's see. Actually, it looks like the people are very happy with our session. Walang maraming questions. They were responding to your questions kanina po, medyo delay lang dumating. But
Sige,
otherwise, it was they are just thanking us for this session, particularly you siguro, Miss Ruby, for enlightening us today. Of the things that we should be doing to become better self-leaders, because in turn that will reflect on how we lead other people. Kagaya ng sabi ni Erica kanina, it's a reflection of your own leadership methods, how you deal with yourself and lead yourself.
True.
Ms. Bebot is also very happy with this session. Thank you very much po for appreciating this session, and thank you of course to Ms. Ruby for her very inspiring words, for the very inspiring and motivating words. And hopefully everyone who is with us today are also able to to pick up tips on how they can become better versions of themselves, kagaya ng sabi ni Ms. Ruby.
Right. And don't let this pandemic control you. You may be scared, but don't become scary. Sabi nga nila. Right? Oo, this is also an opportunity to reinvent yourselves. Parang paglabas mo ng pandemic, oh wow, sino ito? The better or best version of yourself. Diba?
Version 2.0.
Yes, version 2.0. True. All right. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much po, Ms. Ruby, for sharing your time and your expertise with us today. Thank you as well to everyone who joined us to this session. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to just take this opportunity to remind you that this session, along with our other previous Think Tank sessions, are on our Facebook page. You can watch and rewatch them anytime and share them with your friends who you think might benefit from this or these sessions. We also have upcoming webinars on our training page. So please always visit workbank.com/trainings to keep yourselves updated. We're also cooking something better for everyone for the next couple of months, so be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, thank you very much again for joining us today, and we hope to see you in the next episode of Workbank Think Tank. Bye-bye. Thank you, Ms. Ruby.
Happy Friday.
Bye. Thank you po.